Now, there are so many ways in which AI is already being adopted. Let's focus just on one, though, for the moment. Social workers at a third of all councils across England have started using an AI system called Magic Notes. It's software that records conversations, creates a record, and drafts letters. And Seb Barker is the Chief Operating Officer of Beam, which provides Magic Notes.
Magic Notes is an application that uses AI to draft paperwork for social workers and other people that work in the care sector. And how it works is it allows you to record the meetings you're doing with people you're supporting. And then where it uses generative AI is it drafts paperwork that the social worker needs from that session. That might be an assessment, a care plan, whatever it is. The social worker will then get an email when the Magic Note is processed. They can then check it, edit it, and finalize the paperwork that they needed. And so we're testing it in about a third of social work teams. At the moment, the early evaluation showed it saved about 8 hours a week just on admin time. So it really does chip into that very long amount of time they're spending at the moment writing up paperwork.
8 hours per person per week.
Exactly right.
Right, so a whole day. But how is it? I mean, people record meetings and those meetings can be transcribed.
Yeah.
What is the AI element of this that is doing something beyond that?
So the AI is interpreting that transcript in the way that we've instructed it to do, such that the paperwork generated looks and sounds like the paperwork in that team. So there might be a very particular way that social workers do care assessments and e-ling, and we found a lot of variation there in terms of both the government body, but also the team. And we're using the AI to say, hey, this is what it should sound like. This is how it should be structured. These are the important details to look out for, so that when the social worker's checking that first draft, it's done most of the heavy lifting for them, and it's exactly the sort of thing they'd normally need to write up themselves.
Right, but it is just notes of the meeting, is it?
Yes, it's very objective. So where we're not using generative AI is to try and overlay it with any analysis. The social workers are really best placed to do that, but it does a lot of the first draft of the paperwork for them. It then takes them, 5 minutes, 10 minutes to edit that. But that's, a lot of time down from the hours it would take them to write that up from their notepad at the end of each working day.
Okay, now you say you're using it in a third of social work teams. I mean, a third of teams across the country.
Exactly right, yeah.
And the feedback has been positive.
Yeah, it's been really positive. I think there's sort of two sides to it, really. There's an efficiency side, which we've talked about, and I do think that's important. There aren't enough social workers. We need to try and find ways to do more with less. But on the other side, there's this piece around quality as well, and that's quality of the notes being generated are much more detailed than the normal ones that you might necessarily see from busy social workers. But also the social workers feel it improves their ability to do their job because they're not breaking eye contact with people, writing notes in a notepad. They're much more present and engaged with people in the sessions and also enjoying their job more because they're actually out there meeting people versus stuck behind their computers typing.
Now, if you are making the paperwork less burdensome, does that mean social workers would be expected to look after more clients?
That's not something we've seen at the moment, but in the fullness of time, that would be the objective in some ways because they will spend less time doing admin time and more time supporting people. So you could either support more people or you could do more work with the current caseload you have, which in some cases where you're supporting people with complex needs is hugely, hugely needed. But really, what that government body and social work team wants to do with the tool is ultimately up to them. From our perspective, we just want to liberate the admin time that they're currently finding dominates their work.
Seb Barker.